We're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show, to the Dream Team. How's everyone going? And big hello to you, Nick. How are you?
Hi, Marie. I'm very well, thank you.
That's good. And Jasper says hi. So he's on today. And we've got Tracy and Lady Hawk on already. That's awesome. And we've had some dreams sent in from Kibu and from Creepy Dave, because I think they're often on different time zones, so it's a bit tricky to get on live. So, but so I'm just wondering, how have you been, Nick? Have you been working at all with that sending love to yourself, or you do it naturally anyway? Because I think last week we brought up sending love to yourself first before you send it to others, or have that intention.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think I feel really blessed that my whole life I was encouraged to be me, to have that confidence, and so consequently, I've carried that throughout my whole life. I'm not saying that you don't doubt yourself, but one thing I've learned is that by not putting judgments on myself, I'm not putting them on other people. And I'm just accepting people unconditionally with love, which means if I do that for them, I have to do it for me. And it's just, we trick ourselves so many ways. We're so clever at doing it that you've got to catch yourself thinking, did I just try to prevent something by not showing the love I have for myself? Like I'm trying to cover up something or do something differently. But yeah, I definitely, look, I'm constantly aware. There is probably maybe of the days in this week alone, I would say an hour of my waking time dispersed throughout the week where I'm not aware of what I'm doing or thinking.
Wow, that's huge. That's really staying centered.
Yeah.
So, and it's training, isn't it? It really is training, constant watching and just observing ourselves. So, wow. So, thank you for that. I've been a bit the same. I've been consciously coming back into here. There was one day though where I had this absolute rage come up out of nowhere, and I was in my car. I went, "Oh, awesome! At least I can yell it out in here. It's safe." It just caught me so unawares, and then when I got home, it had all just dissipated. I went, "That was just amazing. Something needed to shift." So I just let it, and there was no thoughts associated with it. It was just this absolute rage. It was huge. So it was like, yes, it was so cathartic. But I was very aware of it, very conscious of it. So, who have we got on? I've got Trigal on, got Marie on,
Kathleen, wow, everyone's coming on. Fantastic. Hi, everybody.
So how's everyone been going with that? Was it something that you guys had an intention with, to actually focus on loving yourself first? Because we're usually givers. So, just let us know how you went this week. So, I do have to leave my phone on because I'm trying to organise a worker for a position at the moment. So please, if I jump off for a few minutes, this is why. So, okay. Oh, that's cool.
I watched a video short on Telegram this week and shared to family and friends. Oh, really?
It's beautiful, on loving yourself. Oh, loving yourself first.
Yeah.
Is that what it was, Trigal? Yeah, loving ourselves. Yeah, she said that. And it's wonderful, and it's just when we have an awareness about these things, we can share it and pass it on, because so many people don't even think to do that for themselves. When I was younger, and I used to go out to, watch live bands or go to the pub or whatever, and I'd get bored, so I'd run around and talk to people, and I used to ask them a question. It was like, do you love yourself? Could you stand in front of the mirror and say, I love myself? And everyone would go, don't be silly, that's narcissistic. No, no, no. And then I remember it was probably about 5 years later, and I thought, oh, I'm going to try that again and see what's going on. So I did. So again, went round and asked people, could you actually say you love yourself? And so many more people were like, yes, of course I do. I was just going, whoa, what a shift. Then I realised I'd probably had the shift internally as well. And was to me. So it's really difficult to do a double-blind placebo experiment like that when you're actually influencing it. But it was really interesting that a lot more people were very safe and comfortable in saying they loved themselves, but whether they actually then consciously sent love to themselves, I don't know. So
what's the intention? So, always give yourself permission to do something nice for yourself every day.
Exactly. Treat yourself. So should we start with with Kibu's dream. It's actually a really interesting dream, and I'd really like to get people that are watching. I'd love to get your comments on it because it's quite unusual. So yeah, let's just have a look and see what Kibu came up with.
Hi, Kibu. Awoke scared at 2:02 a.m. from this dream. Walked through thick jungle barefoot with backpack. Someone walking far ahead. Then I heard a prayer song I loved since young, so I started singing it. 2. A pious religious man from behind me said, "This song is evil, all for the evil one." I was a bit scared as he wasn't walking, just jumping effortlessly around 2 meters. Is the song harmless, please? It is a song of 99 ways to depict the traits of God. What does this all mean?
Isn't that just a fascinating dream?
Very fascinating.
So, yeah, so if anyone gets any intuition or any hits that come through, even if it's just around one aspect of the dream, and of course, we'll look at this and break it down into what some of the things actually mean. So, and the fact that it was 2:02 a.m. I mean, 2 is balance, and 2 is balance, obviously, feminine, masculine. But 2 and 2 is 4, and 4 to me has always been a strong foundation for something. So it's really interesting. So, so Nick, do you want to just start with what your thoughts are on it?
It's funny because I've been looking at the 2:02s and the 2s and the 0s a lot lately because that's been coming up in my dreams as well.
So you've got
certainly, and it appears again in the next paragraph there. It is about balance, and it's about balancing the masculine and feminine in yourself, but also in your life. There might be things that are happening outside, and the next thing I often ask myself, well, is this happening now? Is this something I'm working towards, or is this what I need to think about more? So the walking through, the movement of walking indicates that you're mobilized. You're going in a direction of some sort, which is really good. It means that you're not stuck, and whenever you're walking, that mere act is you're moving your body, you're moving things around, is a really important one.
I'll be back.
Sure. So, and I want to leave some opening there for some people to actually put in what they think. But the key words there are the jungle, barefoot with a backpack. So we've got jungle, barefoot, backpack. So if you think of being naked and having bare feet, both to me are very much at the real core of being yourself, who you are, showing yourself, and with your feet on the ground, that grounding part is connecting to your root, your connection through to the earth. So I think with the 2s, we're striking a balance here because we've got the God component in there, we've got the spiritual, the heaven, and then we've got the earth. It's certainly talking about bringing something back in balance for you. The interesting thing is the backpack, because we always think of a backpack carrying things that we either need or are useful to us, so we're ready, but it also can mean a weighing down. So whenever you have these dreams, it's also really good to check in. I know you were focused, Kibu, with the side of the song, but what were you feeling when you were carrying that backpack? Were you doing it effortlessly, or was there some sort of burden with it as well that you could have dropped it by the side? So let's have a look. Kathleen B here has said, and I'm sorry, Kathleen, I can't bring your comment up, says, is this an actual song? And if so, what lyrics were you singing in the dream? Yeah, look, I'd like to look at the lyrics as well to have a bit of an understanding. I have a gut feeling straight away, an intuition about the song and what it means. I don't know if anybody else is feeling into this straight away. I was just reading out Kathleen B's comment as well.
Oh, great. Okay. What is Kathleen saying about it?
She was wondering about the lyrics of the song.
Oh, yeah, that's why I actually asked Kibu, because Kibu popped it into one of the YouTube comments, and it was, the lyrics, and she said it wasn't in her mother's native tongue, so I can't remember what Kibu's background is, like her country, but so it is an actual song though, Kathleen, from what I understood from Kibu. It was something she knew when she was younger, and so it's resonated with her. So, so Yeah, so and because Kibu can't be on, but that's I know I did ask that question and it was a real song. So
Mm.
yeah. So and as we said, it's sort of that not I know that there's other songs, like there's books as well that have like the 70 names of God in it. So
Mm.
Kibu was saying it was things like majestic and all of those beautiful traits that we would associate with God, which of course is us as well. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so sorry I missed that. I had to get that sorted and it's done now, so I'm very happy. So
Good. Well done.
um,
Yeah, I was
yes,
just alluding to the balancing of the twos with both sides, but also with the walking and the carrying of the backpack. What does that actually mean for you? Because it could mean two different things. It could mean carrying a load of a weight, like a weight on your shoulder, or it also could mean carrying all the things that you need in your life to sort of get you through.
yeah.
The
And
jungle too is interesting. Sorry.
no, I was going to look that up, but the fact that also the pious religious man was doing 2-meter jumps,
Yeah,
I found
exactly.
that
Exactly.
was really
Yeah,
interesting.
it's so obvious. It's pushing the two. Yeah,
Okay,
the jungle's to me, it can almost be chaotic. It's so rich and there's so much going on, and it's all about growth. So if I step into a jungle, at first you feel a bit lost because it's all encompassing around you. There's a lot to take in. So that richness of a jungle is, to me, about understanding that you can actually grow from just about anything. It's
totally. And you're spot on. I've just looked it up. So for people that don't know, I know all of you do. This is the Betty Bethard's book, The Dream Book, that we use. And Nick's got the upgraded version. I don't have that yet because I've had this trusty one. This is my second copy because I've worn the other one out. But yeah, the jungle in here, she says it's enormous growth. So much is happening, it's hard to assimilate it all. So, and as well, Kibu too, sometimes religion can get in the way of our spiritual growth. It can actually hinder us. So I wonder if that's what that religious man is doing, is hindering your love of God or your, respect and of God. Because they do. They say you can't go directly to God. You go through the priest or you go through the religious man. We know that's not necessary. So maybe this is something that's actually been released from you as well. So yeah. So
I think it's like, once again, we're getting away from this concept of it's a good or a bad
yeah,
song. It's more about recognizing that we can see it from one perspective, but we can also see it from another perspective, and we can shift that, constantly shifting it. But the idea is what I'm feeling is that to get the balance back, you need to sit in the middle and be able to see both sides. It's a bit like when you have someone in the middle of an argument, and they don't want to take sides. They just want to have something that better comes out of it. So perhaps that's why that song, because it was something familiar to you, was really pushing that. And the 99 is another interesting number too. It's all about completion.
that's right. It is. Yeah. And interesting you say it like that, because I was just tuning into the cards and the 4 of Cups has come up. So this is, we can be offered something and we choose to take it or not take it. And I've always know that our intention is what counts. We could, no matter what we're doing, if our intention is one of love and of joy and of celebration, that I'm just getting so hot as we're talking about this, then that's what will come out of it. So yeah, Wheel of Fortune. I really feel this is a shift for you, Kibu. Beautiful shift and spiritual, and you just trust yourself. You've got everything you need. As Nick was saying, we can take the backpack as having all your strategies and all your things that you do, and I love it. The 10 of Cups, this is pure joy. This is emotional fulfillment, emotional happiness. So whatever is going on for you, you're going, I feel this is a really big growth for you, having that dream. And sometimes it can be scary because it's out of our comfort zone as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
and what I often do is, if I have a dream like that, and I can see there was a little bit of concern about whether you felt that word you put in there about it having some negative feelings for you, I don't think any of our dreams are showing us that anymore. I think we have to be really fair with what message we're getting. Obviously, you needed to get the message that way for it to stand out. But there's something quite beautiful in that dream too, for me. It's just that I didn't see anything negative about it at all. In actual fact, if you have the confidence that you can take the parts of that song that you love and enjoy, nothing, no matter what, is telling you it's not good or not. as long as you're coming out with a nice balanced perspective, can't change how you feel about it. If it brought you joy as a child, it's a pretty good reason to maybe let it bring you joy again as an adult as well. There's plenty of songs that, I was teaching a child how to play Three Blind Mice on the recorder because it's something really easy for them to play. And then I thought, we can do the first lyrics of it. They weren't interested in the lyrics, so they just wanted to hear the song and how to play it. And then I thought, oh, the lyrics are going downhill real quick now. And I think about it, like, it's just not a particularly pleasant song for whatever it was written about. But I thought, you know what? That child is in absolute joy playing that. I'm not going to ruin it for them. And if they do ask me the lyrics, I'll just say them. It doesn't matter, because we're not trying to overprotect people, because that's what religion has done in a way. It's overprotected us, so we don't get a say in it. So I see that as a beautiful dream. I really do. And like you said,
Yeah, I do.
So what I also do with those dreams, if I go back and it keeps in my mind about it, the jungle idea, I imagine the jungle and I think about, wow, look at me growing exponentially. I'm so healthy and I'm going to get much stronger than I ever have been. And then that changes your inside, from the inside out.
Totally. And being grounded, barefoot. I love it. So I think really amazing dream, Kibu. And being scared is not a bad thing either. It's because we have choices. We just make a choice. And we go, So no, I love that dream. So, thank you for sharing that. Shall we go on to Dave's dream?
Yeah, let's.
This is an interesting one too.
Hi, Dave. I don't know if you're back from your holiday yet, but hopefully you're enjoying this one.
Yeah.
I'm in my hometown, bringing groceries inside to the house with some of my family members. Coming out of the back door, I close the door firmly so I won't lock us out. Upon the sky, we saw the ISS, International Space Station, too close. We could make out every part of it, and one section of it was on fire. In a hurry, I get my phone out to make some photos, pictures, but it's on video. Anyway, I took a video of it, and then I watched back and there was nothing on it, just the sky. It turned out the space station was a hologram.
That's so interesting, isn't it? And Dave's got a meaning there for us, so we'll put that up first. I like how Dave's looked at this in a really different way, which is great.
Oh, great, Dave's meaning. So it does help when you've got a book, but always just listen to your intuition. Yeah. Could have many meanings, but my gut feeling is that I should help my family, healing ancestral karma, and don't get distracted whatever goes on in the world.
I love it. And it's so interesting because when we, what does space represent? What does, having a satellite like that up there represent? So I'm going to look that up and see what we get from here as well.
Because I see it as a communication. The idea of the ISS is for communications.
Yeah.
So there's a message of some sort coming through for you there.
Yes. Yeah, I agree, actually. So it doesn't have space in here. So I wonder what else she might put under. So the universe, stars, I don't know how what she's got it in as. So, but yeah, look, I think it's also being able to see things and see through things. And making sure your door's not locked. You're free to come and go safely, but you're seeing things now that, maybe before we weren't aware of as well in real life. So let me just, universe. No, she hasn't got that in there. So
it's interesting how things like the big things, space or even a song, they're not being interpreted. And I think because they're too big to limit it.
Yeah.
Because it's more very much about what you see it as. So I like that there's that openness to it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but that's great. And I love how you took a video, but it didn't even show up. So something's an illusion. So maybe that there's an illusion around something as well. It can mean that's a really different dream. It's a really different dream. And actually, do you want to share? Here we go. Actually, I'm just going to pop this up in a minute. I'll put up Marie's comment on the last one. So So was gonna say, do you want to share your dream that your theme of dreams that you were telling me about? Because I think it's a little bit relevant here with this one as
Mm,
well.
mm.
So do you
Yeah,
want to share that?
I've had a really, I call it a breakthrough week in terms of my dreams and what I've been experiencing. Is that instead of having a normal dream that I interpret and I see how it reflects in my life, the dreams that I've been getting have been more about my day-to-day living, but I'm shifting straight into the same another parallel version of it. And then I'd shift automatically into another one. And I these were all lucid dreams. So I was fully aware and I kept asking, oh, why am I here now? And then I turn it. So I literally, I mean, I was on a plane pulling one of those carts out that have meals in. I said, I'm just going to go away for 20 minutes on a break. And then I disappeared. Next minute, I'm walking the streets of Paris. Now, all of these things that I was visualizing were very real in my life that I could well have been experiencing. I've experienced them in the past, and there were variations of it. So I'm walking the streets of Paris, and I realize my girlfriend's house is nearby. So I walk up the stairs. We sit down at a table. She brings out a plate of cakes. And then I turn around, and then my husband's there. And I'm thinking, where did you come from? You didn't tell me you were coming to Paris, and now you're at the table with us. And then I look down, another plate appears. So each situation, it just kept morphing into something else, something else, something else, but all completely believable. But I realized that it was all about time shifting, and I was creating it was showing me the possibility of how I can create realities very quickly and very easily. And so all of the dreams that I've had since then were about just simple things in my day-to-day life and just constantly jumping here. So it's this time shifting that's going on, and it's making me realize, oh, we can really create our reality. And at any moment, we can create another one and another one. Now, I often question how many can I create at once? But because I haven't been remembering the dreams specifically, because they're not worth writing down, because I feel like I've moved through them and whether they were showing me something that needed to be pulled up. So I refer to this whole thing as refinement. It's bringing up either some tiny shadows that perhaps just needed to be looked at, but all underlying all of this is about this time shifting that's going on for me. So I'm really interested if anybody else is having these experiences.
Yeah, and Lady Hawk has got a great question. So she just says, can you have two dreams at the same time? I watch two different things happening like a split screen, which it sounds a little bit similar to what you've been experiencing.
Lady Hawk, yeah.
Yeah, and it was within the first hour that she was asleep. So and Lady Hawk, that's lucid dreaming, really, in a way, because you're actually aware of what's going on within the dream and timelines. I mean, I've had, friends, I think a lot of us, we can help other lifetimes, parallel lifetimes as well. I've had, even Zan was mentioning that she had something going on around that. So it is a theme at the moment by the sounds of it. So we're becoming more aware.
Yeah, I sometimes think if I'm having these, so is everybody else. Also, a lot of other people are experiencing this as well. And what I do with it, I'm not really sure, to be honest. I mean, sometimes when you get a new experience, I mean, I'm no different to anyone else. I'm just going through my life and having these dreams and experiences. But I'm also seeing some weird glitching going on in my life.
In real life? Are you noticing it in real life? What can you give us an example?
All right. Well, just as I was setting up this morning, there's a phone cable that my girlfriend had left here over the weekend, and then we had another visitor come and stay the next day, my stepdaughter, and my girlfriend rang up after she left, and she said, "Oh, I think I've left my phone cable there at your house." So I've had a really good. I'd already stripped the bed, washed the sheets, vacuumed the floor. There's not a lot in this room, and then I knew it wasn't there, so I've rung her back. And then this morning I've come in and it wasn't here yesterday and it's sitting right in the middle of the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
like literally curled up on the bed. And I'm telling you now, there is no way. I mean, I'm particular when it comes to tidying up and there's no way. Yeah. So I don't know. And that sort of stuff is happening.
So you're in real life, what you're seeing in your dreams, and this is what we talked about last week, was how much can our dreams affect real life and things like that. So, and it's true because Kathleen has just popped a comment up there, but sounds like that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yes.
Not quite. I didn't have the crazy fingers. The
I
hot
love it.
dog fingers.
But isn't it interesting that you're noticing that coming through in what we call real life, which
Yeah.
actually could be our dream state, and it's showing you. It's almost like this correlation, this parallel.
Mm.
So yeah, which
Yeah.
is and yeah, and which is amazing. And like Lady Hawk, you're saying the same thing. Do you want to read that
What
one
is
out?
happening when you dream something, when you see it play out in the next few days? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what is happening?
Yeah.
Are we creating it, or is it a premonition? So it
Mm.
could be a premonition dream, and you
Mm.
know, tapping into the energetic potential that's there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's fascinating, isn't it? So Lady Hawk, really good noticing, and that's
Mm.
it. You know, just even noticing the themes that we're dreaming about, and then what's happening in real life, for
Mm.
sure. So, um, but it was interesting because I did pull some cards for Dave. I'll just pop back and because with Dave's dream, remember he was saying it should help out family, healing ancestral karma, and don't get
Mm.
distracted. So the Hierophant came up. Now this is someone that has a lot of authority, especially in a spiritual or religious or educational way, and can control people. But I then saw the Death card, so I feel that that illusion of that space station, whether it was communication or whether it was whatever, I feel like there's a transition going on for you, Dave, as well. The Death card to me always means it's usually been a slow transition. Go internally. The Hermit cards come up. I'd go internally to get some more insight on this because I don't think it's just a little dream. I think you're actually being given a big message here. So yeah, go in and just contemplate and do a little bit more work with it and to see what comes up. But I feel like some illusions have been shattered for you. That's
Mm.
going to change aspects of what you know. That's just what the cards are saying. So
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we're all going through some major upgrading at the moment. Um, and another thing I've been interested to ask people is that, so for me the other day, I just walked out the back door to put some laundry out, and I just tripped on the mat and I twisted my ankle. And I did it enough to limp around for it. It was pretty good today. But and I thought, what is that all about? Like, really? I mean, I, it's not that I'm that stupid or klutzy. And okay, I've had sprained ankles in the past, but I felt quite strong. It's not a big deal. It's just a step. It's not even a step. It's just a tiny little inch drop from the back stairway. And I thought,
mm,
are there things that are there are things that are so strong in our shadows that are coming out now that are having to sometimes appear in the physical body. And I've never had injuries before. They've always come up like a bit of a cough or a sore neck here, or a bit of a headache, or other things that people talk about, a niggle here, a niggle there. But to actually have something physical like that happen, quite significant. And I thought, I knew straight away when I did it, I had to question, what's this about? And
yeah. I was going to ask you if you've done it before because I continuously would roll my left ankle, and then
yeah,
I had this amazing chiropractor that said it was to do with my brain wasn't connecting in fully. There was a synapse. There was something going on. He corrected it, and I haven't. My left ankle has been so solid ever since. My brain, the proprioceptors in my feet weren't connecting, and I didn't know where my left foot was, and that's why it would roll. So I love that you said that you don't have that happening and that it was a glitch for you. It was something that was abnormal. But you're
yeah. I
right,
mean,
it can be a release of something, definitely.
yeah, exactly. And it's brought and like there's so much going on physically with our bodies that we don't understand.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like this, everything's trying to get itself back in alignment, and it might take something like that. But I actually felt after I did it, I thought, you know what, I think this is a good thing.
It
Whatever it's
shifted
done,
something.
it's
It
shifted
jolted,
something.
it
Yeah,
jars.
I know it
Yeah.
sounds weird, but
It
yeah,
shifts
exactly.
energy. That sort
Yeah,
of scare can really shift
yeah,
energy as well.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah. No, good observing. That's
yeah.
really cool.
And the
And
reason I bring it up is really because of Dave's dream being so significant there, with you said it is a major shift, that sometimes things are such, it's quite dramatic that you stop and think, oh, wow,
why
okay. Yeah,
and
exactly.
I find questioning everything, we're always gonna get an answer. It's like
Yeah,
it always comes, no matter how it comes to us, I find there's always an answer. So, yeah, and I love a lady's question here is, are we responsible to warn if we have like a prophetic dream, or are we just the observer? And then Trigal, I think you've actually, I love it. She's answered this for us.
I think only you can answer that for yourself, Lady Hawk. Exactly.
Yeah, and if you get a really strong urge to let someone know, look, just be really mindful. I've just had this little bit of a premonition. It's fine, because we don't want them to go on and create it either. So but yeah, so we will know, and that's when we go inside and we just check in and we find out through our intuition. Is this something that I need to be sharing? So yeah, so good questions though, really good questions.
Very good question.
So and Loretta's on. Hi, Loretta. I love this.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the reading last week. After your show, just outside our front door on our doormat, a beautiful little baby feather was sitting on the mat.
Oh,
yeah, that's right. I had one too. Exactly. Little feather sitting on the mat outside one of my sliding doors. And I thought,
that's interesting, isn't it? So look what you're creating and attracting. That's so cool. I love it. So, thanks for sharing that, Loretta. Lovely to have you on.
Yeah.
So, and Kathleen's got a dream for us as well.
Okay, Kathleen said, I was at a baby store shopping with Eleanor Danan, and for those that don't know her, she does a lot of work around her contacts, off-world contacts, non-terrestrials. And she was pregnant and had no supplies. She morphed into my daughter and she went into labour. My son-in-law and I rushed her to hospital and the baby died at birth. And I woke up. Interesting.
Very interesting dream. Wow.
So
Kathleen,
yes.
Kathleen, the first thing I would ask you is, what does Alana mean to you? So, because this is around, what she does and everything. I don't follow her. But yeah, like for you, what does that mean for you? Considering that she morphed into your daughter and then went into labour as well. So yeah, I think that's sort of almost the crux of it. And the baby, of course, is new beginnings, new birth. And just because something dies doesn't mean to say something's not hasn't come into fruition either. So I don't know, what are you getting, Nick? But anyone else, if anyone else has got ideas as well, drop them in. Honestly, this is great.
Yeah, I was trying to absorb that one. That's I think it's a very personal one, to be honest. Very personal. I feel like if anything I say might influence what is going on for you, Kathleen. I mean, in this lifetime, I haven't had children. And even though I work with children, I have for a long time. It's interesting that, some people feel that you don't have a voice when it comes to understanding that. But I do have an opinion on this, and it's from a very different perspective as what it would be perhaps for you, Kathleen. So I'm actually tempted to just say go within with this one. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And when people do appear in our dreams, like someone well known, and this person to you probably is someone you'd consider well known. You look at what traits you see in them, first of all, that you maybe admire or you align with. There could be something about that. Sometimes they come in as a guide to say, look at this person, they've got this trait, but we want to make you aware of that trait. And perhaps that connects a little bit to what this meaning is as well. It's very interesting how she morphed into your daughter.
So and there's an aspect there that's definitely part of Kathleen, like what you were saying, and that's what I got straight away. What is your personal connection with Eleanor, that you see in her as well? But yeah, and definitely the guide thing too. So, I'll pull a couple of cards, and then, but I think I think you're right, Nick. I think this is definitely another one of those hermit card moments. So to go internally and to check, maybe is there something that you're wanting? Okay, this is interesting. So there's a little bit more around it as well, if you want to read that one out.
And just before I do, I just got a big into my ear then. Yeah, I woke up afraid because my daughter started a new business a few months ago and was leaving for a business trip. I don't know why Eleanor was in it. I follow her for interesting information she brings.
You're not gonna believe the first card that came
Mm,
up. What was I just saying? It's like the Hermit card. That was the one that was hot.
exactly. Yeah.
So this is spot on. Yeah, so you follow her for the interesting info. Yeah, so, it could be about finding your own information as well, getting your own downloads and,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fear of a baby dying as well, maybe
Mm.
being your daughter's business, if you're worried for her because it's really hard work when you're first setting up businesses. But yeah, honey, this is no, Kathleen, I would definitely be going in and contemplating. I can believe that card
Yeah.
came up. I'm trying. We're saying it because I just felt it. I went, no, this is some beautiful inner knowing that will come through for you. And it's just
Mm,
giving yourself that space and place to allow it to come in, the star. So you can bring through that beautiful energy and then make your choices from that. So
mm,
yes, I feel you're going to tap into something for yourself, which is what is almost waiting so for you to come in. So yeah, but with your daughter, like I think sometimes you just have to have faith and trust that things will work out, especially in a business. And if it doesn't, there's always something to learn from it, no matter how traumatizing it can be. So yeah, Queen of Cups, this is a contemplation card. This is a contemplation of an emotional state card. So have a look at yeah, what you're feeling as well around that for your daughter's business. So interesting, gosh, really interesting dreams. Whew.
and also, is it coming, every time I have a question about something I don't understand initially on the surface, and I'll just do exactly the same thing. I want more information, and sometimes I do forget to go in
Yeah,
completely, but I'll just go straight to my default, which is this out of fear or love? And
nice.
and it sort of puts me back onto the path of where I need to be, and then often after that, I get some clarity about it.
Yeah,
But I have to be in that mindset or that vibrational state to be able to do that. And perhaps,
yeah,
like you're saying, I think we're starting to really understand that the powers within us, and we can get direct messaging, no different to anybody else. If you just listen to your inner voice, it's there. It's definitely there. It's waiting to be asked half the time.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. And I think I honestly, I just feel that this bridge is just getting narrower and narrower between our dream state and our real world. It's like,
Yeah,
we'll merge in and, yeah, be able to do anything we choose, sort of in a lucid, awake state. So I
yeah.
think, yeah, and it's interesting because sometimes I've had dreams where I'm awake having a dream, I'm lucid dreaming, but I'm doing all this incredible magic, like just
Mm.
magic, and I just knew it was possible, and so because I was doing it, and I just was like, "Wow, this is so cool." So, yeah, I think anything's possible.
Exactly. I was
So
watching that movie, Mr. Megorian's Wonder Emporium. I don't know if
oh,
you've seen that. Oh, it's
no.
brilliant.
Is it?
It really it's just such a lovely film. It's all about childhood and magic and how that you can create. And it's basically a man who comes in. He doesn't see any of the magic in this toy shop because he's just not
Ah,
at that frequency to understand it. And then everyone else is seeing it. And it's his journey going through to get to that point where he sees the magic. But the shop itself is a fantastic.
wow.
Uh,
How do you spell it? Is it Mister for Mister, or is it a Mister as in M-R? Do
I
you know?
think it's just MR, just MR. Yeah. Mr.
And,
Magoriums, Magorium,
so sorry, say that again. Yep,
Magorium,
yep.
Megoriums, apostrophe S, Wonder Emporium.
I'll pop it in here so people can actually watch it
Mm,
if they want to.
mm.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, so I'll pop that
There's
in if anyone wants
some
to
really
know.
good messages in that film. It really is. There's a lot of things that I would go, oh yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah. It's funny, Kibu is driving while she's listening. Oh, there you go. So
Fantastic.
so that's nice to have you on, Kibu. So, yeah, we did do your dream initially, but, yeah, it'd be
Mhm.
good to get feedback from that if some of it resonated or, if you have anything else that you've actually come into clarity with around it. That'd be really interesting. So, um Oh, so Kathleen's popped something up.
Yes, thank you. I knew it was about me, but I couldn't make sense of it. LOL. My daughter did have an incident happen yesterday on her trip that scared her. She could lose her business, panic attack, but all okay. Mm.
Yeah. And it's so isn't that interesting? You know, you were getting this in your dream, and that was the symbology that was being shown to you. I always just know that there's always something to learn if a business goes down or something doesn't work. It's like, okay, right, what do I do next? What's the right thing for me to be doing? And this is that hermit card again coming in. So, and you know, Kathleen, being a beautiful mama, you would probably, you know, want to take some of that emotional stuff away from your daughter, but sometimes
Mm.
it's okay to let them experience it, and they just know that you're there for support, but they've got to go through it. So
Mm.
it's tricky, really tricky.
Mm.
So
Yes, this trust thing is coming up again and again and again. It's like just trusting what's to unfold, you know. The more we push against it, the more we don't allow the magic to come in.
yeah,
You know, it's a big step. It's a huge step.
it's
You
hard.
know, it's like jumping off a cliff. You know, having complete and utter trust in and faith, knowing that what's meant to be happening is exactly how it's meant to be happening. Mhm.
That's it. And that's the Fool card too, isn't it? You know, that new beginning.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if something, you know, something doesn't work out, then there's another way to do it, or there's something different that's coming through for an experience. And yeah, so it's never fun though, is it? In our
Mm.
human world. My beautiful Sarah that was on here, she's funny. She goes, humaning is not for sissies. And it's so
Oh,
not, I tell
no,
you.
it's not. But we sort of work through it. You know, you think every day there's always something that will anchor tap you along the way, and you just get through it. You do it. You're all right. Like even you, Marie, this morning you had issues with, you know, work and having to manage that while you're trying to do this at the same time.
Yeah.
And really, you wanted to have a great day, and you're going to have a
Yes.
great day, but you just
Yeah.
have to deal with that bit first. You know.
And in that moment, and how was I responding? And it was
Yeah.
fantastic because one of the girls said, "Yep, I can cover," and I went, "Oh, thank you," because I really want to spend time with Sarah. We don't get to see each other very often, and you know, yeah, got to do a car swap out and all these things. And I just went, "It'll be fine," and it was. So yeah,
Mm.
so I'm just really grateful. But like you say, you just take it moment by moment, step by step, and yeah, don't. What I've learnt to do is not to bite off more than I can chew anymore. I'm past that. My teeth are sick of that. I don't like to do that much. So
Or find an easier way to deal with it. Get a pair of scissors. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
trying to make it as streamlined as possible. It's like that analogy of like, you know, how do you get something out that's frozen in a block of ice? Well, you can try and chip away at it and bang away and get frustrated because things are flicking everywhere in your face and it's not happening as quick as you want. Or you could just leave it out in the sun
yeah.
and let it
And
melt.
just allow it to melt, or put hot water on it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
Just thinking, you know, how can I
there's a
approach
way
this differently? Mm.
there's always a way around it. So yeah, but oh, so has anyone else got any other dreams or any other synchronicities, or have found any other feathers through the week that they want to share with us? So yeah, I'm just trying to think now if I had any. I actually didn't. I just have so many birds around me, but no feathers. So they come intact.
Yeah.
So
And I just want to say, because we did put up on the tag about this love for ourselves, I think that goes hand in hand with love for each other. And you know, people sort of say, what does that actually mean? And I guess it's just being there unconditionally, no matter what. And all the messages that I keep getting through my dreams, especially, is to with an observer's perspective. Is the observer is not just because you're sitting there watching a show and not wanting to impart anything and not play. And otherwise, we're just sitting there doing nothing. But it's more about what I'm getting now. It's about viewing everything with compassion for that person, seeing it from their perspective without any judgment. And you know that's difficult. I'll admit it's difficult because the moment someone has a conversation with you, they want you to join them in judgment,
mhm.
either agree with what they're saying or disagree what they're saying. No one's doing it for any bad reasons. But the observation part comes in, and the judgment is about lack of it. Is more about having compassion from that person, And if I look at all the dreams that we always talk about, the first and foremost thing is loving yourself and having compassion for yourself. So then you know how to do it for the other person. And I love that Dave brought up the jungle thing. The jungle thing is just now sticking with me completely because
that's interesting.
I feel like it's a real metaphor at the moment for what's happening in our world.
Yeah, true.
There's so much change happening. I don't think I'm not seeing that things are just going into a state of destruction. I'm actually seeing things at the same time starting to grow and blossom because it's happening within us. We're like all the little shoots that are coming up. And so every time we have a conversation about something, another shoot forms and a little bit grows more and more and more to the point where the jungle is going to be so thick with this that nothing else can grow except what's meant to be there. And that I sort of feel like is this love component coming in for everyone.
Yeah. That's a beautiful way to put it, and it's true. And as you're talking, I was just bringing up cards. So the Queen of Swords is about speaking truth and truth being revealed and things coming up to be discussed. And then there's the Three of Cups, which is the joy, which is the celebration emotionally of it all. And then the King of Swords, he's the absolute master of truth and saying what's been going on, storylines. So, what you were saying is really relevant. I think we just forget we are all so important. We are enough and our energy is enough. And that's why we're here at this time. So, it's a very, handpicked. We've put our hands up and then we've come here to be support energetically because we've done it before. We've done it in other realms, other places. So, yeah. So, hi, Christine's on as well. So, and it's true, isn't it? That connection with all of us.
Compassion, it's amazing. Yeah, and the moment you start doing it, the love that you feel in your body starts to fill you, and then that's when miracles start happening. That's when things start happening. You think, I didn't even have to try. I didn't even know. It's like a natural step towards it. I mean, instead of trying to force it. And I think because the word love and light are the same thing to me. And we've come from a place of light. We've been created from a place of light and vibration and frequency. That's how we create matter. And love is the thing that sits behind all of that. So the two are the same. And so I know it sounds really corny, love and light, but it actually is the inner strength that's guiding us all the time. We're still we're just breaking free of it now, and once we realize it, everything just will start coming in. And even if you think, oh no, that doesn't look good for me, that's because that's some old programming that stepped in the way to try and control the situation, because you don't see what's coming. I mean, how many times we've experienced something and we've gone through the stress of the leading up, like we said about, the worry of the job failing or a business failing, and then all of a sudden something better comes along. The closer we get to learning not to react, in the way we once would have, the closer we get to being able to control exactly what we do want in a roundabout way. I don't know if that explains the way I'm thinking of it.
No, it's true, and I guess we all get there. We all have our own symbology. We all have our own archetypes, and we all get there in our own way with our own experience. And this is what makes us unique. Not one other being in this whole place is the same as what you are, or anyone here. No one. Completely unique. So yeah, beautiful. But I was just thinking, Jasper hasn't done a little channeling for ages, so I was just tuning in with him and just seeing if we could get a little channeling for what's going on an energetic level with everybody. Okay, so Jasper, just show us what's happening here. That's interesting. He's showing me like like the olden days ship's wheel, the one that's got all the, but then from that it's like there's just all this light going from it. So it's almost like this wheel can be manipulated and turned with the light, so it hits and goes wherever it needs to hit and go. And it's almost, he keeps showing me like, this is the centrifuge, this is the center of it all. And then he's showing it's within us. It's actually within us. He's then taken me back to a bigger perspective. And that light is what connects us all with that global consciousness, or that community consciousness. But within us, we have that aspect that grounds it all. It's like a wheel, a little bit like on the Wheel of Fortune, but it's actually it's showing me a ship's wheel. And then that we can increase as we become more and more ready. We bring in more and more of that light to be anchored in there. So that's really interesting, isn't it? Okay. So yeah, so it's so we are the light, exactly. So
the helm, the reed, as written.
The helm. Yeah.
We're at the helm. We're driving it. We're definitely.
Total. So yeah, it's so there you go. So I really feel that theme around self-love. It's also being able to see ourselves as a hologram, but yet real and full of this love, with a hub within us that is central core to this light that we are. So it's coming out and coming in. So we're just our most amazing light beings. So yeah. So Nick, has anyone got any ideas for next week? Maybe, is there anything that we'd like to continue with, like on the theme side of things, or is there anything that has been dropping into people's minds that they'd like to bring up and have us look at, and all of us have intention on, which then of course exponentiates the whole experience? So yeah, so I don't know, is there anything, or and if you get a thought afterwards, pop it in the comments, and we'll always pop it up. I usually leave it for a day or two before I set up the StreamYard link. So yeah, we can do that.
And I'd be interested to see if anyone is starting to have those time shifting experiences from the perspective that, because there's been a lot of chatter at the moment about, we're questioning what linear time is. And we look at the spiral effect of time. And that in itself is not just a linear, taking a long line and twisting it. It's far more complex. It's going out into different areas and levels. So I'm wondering if people throughout the week, once sometimes something's thrown into the mix, it starts to stimulate something in other people, if that will come up in different ways. But I think the connection thing is going to become stronger and stronger. I had friends over the other day, and it's funny because when they say laughter, singing, dancing brings you into a beautiful state of joy, and that's when you're in that flow. And we just started laughing about something, and then we immediately all three of us said exactly the same words, and then we laughed again, and then we followed it up with the next set of the exact same set of words, and it was just ridiculous. It's like, wow, we really are connected, aren't we? Because we were in that wonderful, laughing, happy frequency. It was just, and I thought, but what would we do? We let our minds into it then.
Yeah. When you have that synchronicity, I've had it when I've been in drumming circles, and like my friend, the girl next to me, we were just like blowing each other's minds with the same pattern we were doing, and not even having planned it or anything. And the energy, you could feel it. It was just beautiful. I was like, oh, that's connection, that's synchronicity. So yeah, I love it. Yeah. But thanks, Loretta. That's really sweet. She appreciates us all. And Trigal's popped up starseed type dreams. Now, it's interesting, Trigal, because just for the last week, I've actually been saying I want to remember I choose to remember who I truly am. I want to connect more in. And of course, it's that starseed aspect. So I love that you've typed that up, because that gives me another anchor then to be able to have the intention of before I go to sleep. So I like that idea. What do you think, Nick? Should we just all...
I've been thinking about that starseed thing a lot.
Really?
Particularly yesterday all day. I just kept wondering, just tuning in with who I am.
Yeah.
And what I'm here to do, and not forgetting where I've come from. But definitely.
And I love that. That to me is my reveal. I want that to be my reveal, is remembering everything about who I am, as long as, I can cope with it in a mind aspect, human mind aspect, and understand it, So I reckon I think we should go with that. So if everyone wants to actually do that, have that as an intention of remembering who we truly are, our absolute core being maybe our experiences as star seeds, and that's brought us here to be able to survive Earth and to be this amazing, powerful being of light here on Earth. I love it. Let's go with
How
that.
far back do you want to go? Do you want to just do your it's up to what messages we get about that, but I think it's time.
I think it's time too. So put it out there, guys, and I can't wait to hear the dreams, and they could be something completely weird and that you don't expect, to give you even just the first few steps of the next chapter of what we can remember.
Yeah,
Let's
definitely.
go for it. So
Great one, Dry-Gel. I love it.
Well, yeah, we're going to go with that actually. So, and Kathleen's had an experience as well.
I walked into the kitchen the other day and started singing the song I was making up. I've never done that, and it was so beautiful about going to the riverside. Can't remember though, darn it. Yeah, it came from up above for sure. Yeah,
From an expanded energy, and it's creativity. It's beautiful. So good job. So yeah, I love it. So we need to play like that more and just allow things to come through as well, which will help us to remember who we are. So, but all right, I think I'm going to leave it there today. So, Nick, any final words for people?
Please make sure that you do something that shows the love for you this week before you jump in and do something else for somebody else, because it actually holds. There's a coding, I think, that happens in our body that changes it, and then that ripples out to somebody else. So we actually do things by doing it through ourselves first. I think it's so much stronger that way than always trying to fix everybody else up. And don't worry about what everybody else is doing, feeling, or thinking while you're trying to send yourself something. You really got to block that off and be 100% true. If it means having a bath, or if it means, just sitting and reading a book or taking time out to do zero, nothing, and don't forget to look up, because I've been seeing some action in the skies lately.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on, isn't there? It's interesting.
It sure is.
And the other way to remember too, to do that self-love, is look in the mirror and just look into your own eyes and just go, I so love you, and really feel it. Bring that energy through for yourself. So yeah, I love it.
And when I do that, because I used to do it to try to see auras and colours, sometimes to see where I'm sitting, and it's amazing that as you do look into your eyes, that's when you start. I feel that's where you start getting in touch with your starseed.
Beautiful. So that could be a little cue, is that before we go to bed, like when you're doing your last teeth clean or whatever, actually look in the mirror and do the love aspect of it. But also just, I'm actually going to say something like, I remember you. I remember the starseed within. I remember now. It's like that, and feeling it, and then go to sleep. So I don't know. I reckon that's something I'm going to try.
That's brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. And stating that I remember is, I think, going to be really helpful for me. So let's play. Let's see how we all go. So
you look forward to.
Wait. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your input.
Yeah.
And keep loving each other along the way.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.